Hello everybody, welcome back to the Jeep Journals. It is nearing the end of my stay at Big Bend National Park, and what can I say? Maybe the Raven is saying it all for me. I really like this place. I even have reusable containers that showcase this place. Anyway, if you're tuning in, it might be because of a piece of mail you received. It might be because you're just riding along trying to enjoy the journey. On this particular channel, I focus on wellness and conservation, and I try to interlink the subjects as far as why they are so reliant on one another. And, well, today I want to talk about basic addiction, and it's not really an easy conversation because it's a subject matter that has really been prevalent in my life for my entire life. So much so that some of the basic things that we get addicted to, like emotions, emotional outbursts, are oftentimes leveraged in ways that try to get me to respond on the same emotional level, even though I'm not ready to get into an argument. In order to have a full conversation, at some points we need to reanalyze what it is that's going on and whether we're communicating with one another. And that step is one of the most important steps to rebuilding your own self. So if there's negative energy around you that's causing difficulties separating from certain anxieties, habits, then you want to withdraw from that circumstance and try to be more present in your own environment. So in my environment here, if I'm walking around at night in some areas, not in this spot, but even in this spot, you could potentially encounter a rattlesnake. And just as, I guess, readily, you can encounter a rattlesnake of a person who would be staying at the same location where you're staying. And these are things that we want to be aware of. And when we look at the conversations that are occurring and really analyze them and try to determine whether someone is having a full conversation or whether someone is shorting a conversation by trying to just use anger or an upset state of mind to alleviate the conversation, to excuse yourself out of a conversation, then you might want to recognize that someone has emotional control of you. And in these instances, it can make people extremely agitated when you get to a point where you confront someone to where they only have one option. It's almost like you forced someone to say something, to make a decision. And so in a lot of cases, people will blame the bearers, the sharers of knowledge for the troubles that have arisen. And they won't fully analyze the knowledge that was presented without any kind of bias or circumstance. So again, in this particular topic, we talk about wellness and conservation and how addiction is the opposite of wellness, how the instability of addiction can create pitfalls where certain tasks are not accomplished the way that they should be. And in all cases, the joy that's taken from other activities is very marginalized among most of the people who are talking about these topics. If you don't have a lot of joy, like here I have joy hearing the raven, and I'm recording this segment because I want to present bits of information, just like I've mentioned, that tie into wellness in case anyone out there is trying to overcome their own battles, and to tie these subjects of the law of attraction together and spirituality and all of these things. All we really have to do is pay attention to the synchronicities, like the people whose paths cross at those moments in time, people who are helping to upkeep these areas. When we look at who's upkeeping these areas, and when we really think about group outings that have come to places like this and the extent that the plastic debris has grown to, if we really think about that, and the increasing climate challenges, and add to that the fact that real fires did happen in places like this national park, and combine that with the fact that real droughts have already taken a devastating toll on the wildlife here, and then add to it all of the bits of debris, plastic debris, that are being errantly discarded everywhere. And it makes me wonder if some of the animals that we're not seeing are unseen because they're not here anymore, because of the poisons that we've continued to deliver both into our own systems, our own bloodstreams, and into the bloodstreams of nature herself. So when I talk about these topics and how important it is to, in our own heart, change the attitude that we have towards hearing certain topics, names of topics, as I talk about these things, I want it to be increasingly clear that the reason that I myself am having difficulties communicating with my own father is because my father has a dramatic flair. If you were watching some novellas, for an example, you'll have the character that suddenly just, if you've watched La Bamba, the movie, and you have Richie and his brother Bob, and Bob likes to throw tantrums. And Bob, there's something destructive about Bob's nature. Without Bob, however, Richie wouldn't have been able to, I guess, become who he was. So with all of this being said, the point is that there are some people who have extreme difficulties communicating. However, if you really look at the relationship, especially in hindsight, when most things are too late to do anything about, when you look at these relationships, everyone knows that love is there. The only difference is whether someone is able to have a conversation without yelling for some reason, whether they're able to have a conversation without all that dramatic flair that has nothing to do of good. When we can communicate, have a conversation, when we can conversationalize instead of marginalize, when we can appreciate what it is, the work that it takes to make these demonstrations of actionable change knowledge and shared, well, at that point, then you understand it took some effort. So I hope that you click on the description. I'll type more when I have more time, but I hope you click on the description and read the things that I type in the descriptions. It would be great if you got $1 worth of knowledge out of this and you used one of the links to contribute accordingly. It would be unnecessary for you to do that. At the same time, in this particular environment, I'm offering this insight to you. Look at the wind, the beautiful wind coming, carrying these words of peace. See the tree swaying above? hear the raven. Wait till you look at all of the other clips from this series and from other series like this, not just on my own channel, but where people are putting together beautiful moments and showing what it takes to first stop doing the things that we were doing, and then figure out where's the joy at, and then add steps into the direction of achieving that joy, and everything is possible at that point in time. A whole other world opens up whenever positivity is added to the solution. Positivity, joy, love, all of that goes hand in hand. So thanks so much for watching. Until next time, I'll probably post one more segment from this series. Maybe I won't make it to 5. Either way, I will return to my home garden pretty shortly so that I can see what is fruiting there. Till next time, peace, love, and all that old school stuff.